My name is Daniel. I was not born poor, but I was not born rich either. I grew up in a small town in southern Nigeria. Red sand roads, mango trees, goats crossing the river. Everyone knew everyone. If you did something wrong in the morning, your mother would hear about it before afternoon. My father was a teacher, a strict man. He believed in two things: education and reputation. Money can finish, he always says, but your name must not spoil. I never understood that sentence, not until the day my name was destroyed. I was the first child. That meant responsibility. When my younger sisters were sleeping, I was reading. When my friends were playing football, I was solving mathematics. When others were thinking about girls, I was thinking about university. At least, that was everyone's belief. But the truth is, I was tired. Tired of being the good son. Tired of being compared. Tired of being the example. Why can't you be like Daniel? Mothers will say to their children. But no one ever asked Daniel if he was okay. When I finished secondary school, I got admission to study accounting in Lagos. That was when everything changed. If you have lived in Lagos, you will not understand the noise, the pressure, opportunity, temptation. Lagos does not force you to be bad. It just shows you a faster way. In my first year, I lived in a small room in Mushin with 3 other boys. We shared everything: food, jokes, and sometimes lies. One of them was Tunde. Tunde was different from us. He dressed well. He always had money. He changed phone like clothes. I asked him one day, "Is your father rich?" He laughed. "No, I just know how to survive." I should have stopped there, but I didn't. I started small, very small. Tunde told me about online work. Not Yahoo Yahoo, he just said quickly. Just helping foreigners move money, you get commission. I was scared. My father's voice rang in my head. Your name must not spoil. But I also remembered something else. The rent was due. My mother had called the day before crying about hospital bills for my sister. Pressure is louder than conscience, Tunde said. Just try once. If you don't like it, stop. Just once. Those 2 words changed my life. He showed me how to create a fake profile, how to talk politely, how to gain trust. At first, I only watched. Then one day he said, "Reply this message for me." My hands were shaking, but I replied. That was the first lie I told a stranger for money. And the stranger believed me. The first payment came 2 weeks later, $200, when Tunde converted it to Naira and handed me my share. I could not breathe. That was more money than my father earned in 2 months. I told myself, just until things get better. I paid my rents, sent money home, bought a better phone. My mother called me, crying with joy. "God bless you. My son, you are the light." That sentence pierced my heart. But I continued because now I liked the feeling, the power, the independence, the respect from other students. Money changed how people treated me. And slowly, it changed me too. One night, Tunde came back excited. This one is big. A foreign businesswoman, recently divorced, lonely, rich. He had been chatting with her for months. She trusted me completely, he said. The plan was simple. Convince her to invest in a fake project. The amount, $15,000. I froze. This is too much, I said. Tunde looked at me carefully. You want to remain small, Abi? That word small. I had been small my whole life. Small town, small money, small connections. I agreed. That was a mistake. Not the first lie, not the first money, but the moment I decided to go bigger. The woman's name was Margaret. She was 52, from Canada. She used to send voice notes. Her voice was soft, kind. She talked about her daughter, her dog, her late husband. Sometimes, after chatting with her, I could not sleep. I trusted us completely. One day she said, I am happy I met you. You remind me of my son. That sentence almost made me stop everything. Almost. But $15,000 was close. And greed is stronger than guilt. The day the money entered, Tunde shouted so loud the landlord came knocking. We were rich. We are rich. At least that was how we felt. We withdrew quickly, converted fast, shared. I held more money than I ever seen in my life. I should have been happy. Instead, I felt cold. 3 days later, Margaret sent a message. Daniel, my bank says something is wrong. They are asking questions. My chest tightened. Tunde said, ignore. She will be confused. But the messages continued. Then came the last one. You lied to me. No anger, just pain. That was when I knew something was coming. It happened around 5:30 a.m. Heavy knock on the door. Not landlord knock. Serious knock. Before we could react, the door was forced open. Police. My heart stopped. Someone had reported international complaints. Bank tracking. They looked at our phones, laptop. Everything I kept saying, I am a student, I am a student. But the evidence was there. Chat logs, transfers, screenshots. They took us away in front of neighbors, in front of the landlord, in front of the entire compound. My name started spoiling. That morning, they allowed one phone call. I called my father. He picked. Hello? I could not speak. Daniel, my voice finally came out. Daddy, I am in trouble. Silence. Then he said quietly, what did you do? That question was heavier than prison. When I told him, he did not shout. He did not insult me. He only said one sentence. I warned you about your name. That hurts more than handcuff. The case moved fast because it involved foreign fraud. University suspended me. Friends disappeared. Relatives stopped calling. People in my town began to whisper. My teacher's son, Yahoo boy. My sisters faced shame in school. My mother stopped going to church. Reputation does not die slowly. It dies loudly. The court sentenced us to 2 years. 2 full years. Prison is not like movies. It is slow, hot, smells of regret. The first week, I cried every night. not because of suffering, but because of memory. Margaret's voice, my father's silence, my mother's tears. Inside prison, nobody cares about your past intelligence. Nobody cares that you were once the good son. You are just another mistake. Tunde tried to act strong, but even he changed. We stopped talking to each other because deep down we both knew we chose this. 2 years later, I came out, but freedom didn't feel free. No university would take me back. Jobs rejected me. Everywhere I went, background checks. Even church members looked at me differently. I returned to my town. Walking on those same red soil felt different. Children whispered. Adults stared. My father had aged. My mother hugged me but cried quietly. The house felt smaller because I had become smaller. The real punishment was not prison. It was seeing disappointment in the eyes of my father every day. One evening he called me outside. We sat under the mango tree. He said, "Do you know why this hurts me?" I said nothing. He continued, "Not because of money, not because of prison, but because you knew better." That sentence broke me because it was true. I knew better, but I chose ease over right. One afternoon, I received an email from Margaret's daughter. My heart nearly stopped. She wrote, "My mother went into depression after losing that money. That was her retirement savings. I could not breathe. She trusted you. She believed you cared." I closed the phone. That was the moment I truly understood. It was not about dollars. It was not about damage. Real people, real pain. My mistake did not only ruin my life, it wounded someone else. I began doing small jobs, loading goods, helping a small mechanic shop. Anything honest. Some days were humiliating, but they were clean. Slowly, people began to soften. Not forget, but soften. I started speaking to young boys in my area, telling them my story. Some laughed, some listened. I tell them the same thing my father told me. Money can finish, but your name must not spoil. I wish I had listened earlier. If you ask me today, what was the mistake that ruined your life? It was not Lagos. It was not Tunde. It was not poverty. It was one decision. The moment I said, just once. Every big fall begins with a small permission. Now I live quietly, not rich, not famous, but wiser. And every night before I sleep, I pray for Margaret, because sometimes the hardest thing is not forgiving others, it is forgiving yourself. Thank you very much for listening. If this message touched you, or if you enjoyed the message, please like, share. See you on my next one. Bye.